The first trailer for Marvel's The Avengers Infinity War has finally dropped, and it's as much of a doozy as fans might have expected. Not only do we finally see the many new subsets of superheroes come together with the OG Avengers, but Thanos has finally decided to step down from his space throne and take a shot at gathering those Infinity Stones. And from the looks of this trailer, he's off to a good start. Let's take a look at some of the finer details you might have missed in the trailer for Avengers Infinity War. Loki's betrayal. The events of Thor Ragnarok might have brought Thor and Loki to a cheeky détente, but it's just a matter of time before Brother Dearest betrayed that newly earned trust. This new trailer shows Loki handing over the Tesseract to someone who is probably Thanos or one of his minions. And if that isn't bad enough, it also shows him stepping over a bunch of bodies to do so. Could that giant ship that arrived in the bleak mid-credits scene after Ragnarok truly have heralded Thanos' arrival? And if so, will it mean the destruction of the remaining Asgardians? Thor does seem pretty broken up in the glimpses we get of him here. He's sporting a patch to conceal the damage Hela did to his eye in Ragnarok, and he seems to be trying to fight something well above his pay grade by pushing against the levers on some massive machine. He's later shown looking through a spaceship window, which might be on the Guardians' Milano. And when he finally does meet Star-Lord and his alien crew, Thor seems lonelier and more contemptuous than ever. If our hunch is right about Loki, it's not hard to guess why Thor would be in such a bad mood. A new villain? There are two flashes in the Avengers Infinity War trailer that point to a new villain. In one, Captain America, all decked out in black and bearded, is shown tussling with someone who looks a lot like Proxima Midnight, a member of Thanos' Black Order. Then, we see poor Vision having his head zapped by a golden staff that looks an awful lot like the one owned by Corvus Glaive in the comics. This Grim Reaper-esque villain is a faithful servant of Thanos, a member of his Black Order, and is known for having a magical connection with his Glaive's blade, which appears to do his terrible bidding against Vision here. Spidey's new digs. It looks like Spider-Man plays a big part in trying to shut down the portal, or whatever that device that's hanging over the city will be called, and he'll be doing so in his fancy new Iron Spider suit. And that's not the only thing that's new about Spider-Man in this movie. He's also shown on a school bus experiencing his spider sense in the form of raised arm hair, which alerts him to the fact that the city's just been invaded by the looming Sky Ring of Doom. Wakanda, here we come. Avengers Infinity War won't be the first film to make landfall in Wakanda, of course. Since we first saw the country in Civil War's mid-credits scene, Black Panther's release date precedes the Infinity War by several months as well. But it does look like the gang will recruit T'Challa and Okoye to join their superhero squad. There are several glimpses of Wakanda throughout the trailer, which include one big battle that will feature Captain America, the Winter Soldier, the Black Widow, Hulk, and more. Guess Bruce isn't having trouble transitioning back and forth into Hulk the way he feared he might be in Thor Ragnarok. Hand to hand. Although Thanos has been a pretty hands-off kind of space villain until now, he decided in the mid-credits scene for Avengers Age of Ultron that he was going to take matters into his own hands before gloving up with a then unjeweled Infinity Gauntlet. And it looks like he's going to make good on that promise in Avengers Infinity War, because he's shown personally bringing the pain to some of our heroes. Chief among his victims is Spider-Man, who seems to take quite a beating from our intergalactic baddie. Of course, the final showdown will probably be a little more spectacular than either of these clips, but it's still clearly very personal for Thanos right now. Speaking of which, Thanos has stones. Before this movie, it wasn't clear that Thanos would have any Infinity Stones to add to his gauntlet, or whether he'd even gotten the real gauntlet this time. As expected though, the fact that it's on his left hand now shows that it is not only the real deal, but he's been able to add at least 2 stones to it. The first stone is purple, which seems to indicate that he's retrieved the Power Stone Ronan tried to keep for himself in Guardians of the Galaxy, but which ended up securely at Nova Corps headquarters. The second one is blue, which probably means it's the Space Stone Loki is shown passing along earlier. We don't know if he'll be able to gather the yellow Mind Stone from Vision or the green Time Stone from Doctor Strange, but he's still farther along in his quest than many fans might have expected by now. There was a leaked teaser image in 2014 that indicated Thanos would eventually gather all the stones at some point, but it's not clear whether that'll happen in this movie or in Avengers 4, which is due in 2019. One thing we do know is that it'll all add up to a heck of a fight for our heroes, one that's destined to end in what Marvel chief Kevin Feige has described as a finale for the MCU as we know it. Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.